Hi everyone, my name is Ariane, and this is my first month on T. And yes, I am wearing a pink shirt because I believe tough trans guys wear pink. Anyway, at the start of the month, before I went on T, I already passed about 50% of the time. I was really fortunate that way. I just did everything I could. I think my hair really helped. I started like putting my bangs up instead of like having them fall off to the side. So I think that seemed to make a big difference. But in general, like I didn't really have a lot of problems using the gym or male restrooms, like locker rooms, things like that with other men. I would get some looks, but it wasn't anything very disturbing or anything like that. In fact, I even had some trouble using the female restroom before I began transitioning. So, which in a way made me feel a little bit better because, I felt like that was me passing. So it didn't bother me a whole lot. Anyway, so I got my first shot into my arm. I I didn't know any better. I just, walked in and they were just like, I guess these guys didn't really know what they were doing. It wasn't the usual injection nurse. Who I now see. But I just, I walked in and they were just like, "Which arm do you want it in?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, my left, I guess." And then they put it into my right. So, I guess maybe having it in a smaller muscle may have caused my caused it to metabolize a little bit quicker. Because what ended up happening was that within like 36 hours, about 1 in the morning, I woke up like absolutely starving my butt off. Had to get up, even though I'd eaten like right before I went to bed at like, 10 or whatever it was. I'd had a good dinner, but I woke up absolutely starving. So I was afraid of getting fat and testosterone. So I restricted myself to my usual vegan protein shake and a banana, and then I went back to bed and woke up again at 5 in the morning starving, had to eat a full breakfast again at 5, even though I was supposed to wake up at like 5:45 for work. My stomach was like, "You are getting up right now." Um, and like I also experienced like extreme change as far as, the whole sex drive thing. Um, that hit me like a truck for like a few days, and then it and also I think I may have had some more energy because, I suddenly went from like being able to like work out the gym for about an hour before. I was just like, okay, I gotta go. Can't do this anymore. That increased. Then I was at the gym until for about 2 hours, and then I was like, okay, I should probably go home at some point because, I gotta like sleep and get back up for work again in the morning. Um, so that was how my first week went, and then after that, I didn't really feel any different for the next 2 weeks. Like I kind of felt like normal again, as if it had like gone through my system and now it was like done. So that was interesting. But I now get it in my upper glute, like you're supposed to get your testosterone shot. Since that happened, the changes have been much more gradual. Um, but I think partly because I did get into my arm, that's might be why, like I lost a couple pounds that first week or two. I lost about 2 pounds. I was also working out a lot more, which may have had something to do with it. Um, I also had a sore throat within 5 days, and I think I already started to notice a little bit more hair on the happy trail. But after I started getting at my glute, things have been progressing a little more slowly. I got another sore throat once more, and then my throat gets sore like when I talk a lot or like when I sing a whole lot. So I think there are some vocal changes happening. I don't hear them when I speak. I don't really, I don't hear it in my own voice, but I've been told by my husband that my voice is a little bit deeper and like a little bit hoarse at times. Maybe all the time. I'm not really sure, but he seems to think that there are some changes, and my therapist agrees that I do sound a little bit hoarse. Um, I've gained back the weight that I lost, so on my next couple shots, I've now gained it back. So, and I even gained a couple extra pounds as well, but I don't like I might have bloated up a tiny bit like in the face and in my stomach, but otherwise I don't think I've really like put on fat so much. It seems more like I've been putting on a lot of muscle. Like I mean, and it helps that I now have more endurance, it seems like, because I am consistently at the gym more than I used to be, and I can be there longer. Um, so that definitely might have something to do with it. And I think partly because I am at the gym like every day for at least 30, if 35, or if not 2 hours, 35 minutes to 2 hours, depending on if I'm doing cardio, which I hate, or doing weightlifting, which I hate less. That seems to be helping my body fat shift. I have experienced, I don't know if my face is really changing, but I do notice a change in the hourglass shape. Like it's definitely less hourglassy. Um, my face might be changing though, because like right before I started tea, my cell phone died. There was blood everywhere. I'm kidding. My cell phone's battery like just totally went kaput. And so I had to get a new phone. So I upgraded to, the newer model, and it has this like facial recognition thing. And so I got that set up right before I went on T. And now that facial recognition thing screws up like 25% of the time. And no matter like which angle I look at it, so it just kind of it so I'm not sure if maybe my phone is already within 1 month having issues, or if it's but my phone's been working perfectly fine in every other regard, so I'm thinking it might just be maybe there's some like subtle face changes, like maybe the fat is kind of dropping in my face, maybe giving me like a little bit more of a square shape, but I could be imagining that. It's really hard to tell this early on. My happy trail is a little hairier, and also it didn't used to, connect all the way, and now it does. The happiness is complete. I have more endurance, as I said. I do have a little bit more acne. When I had that first shot that went into my arm, like the acne exploded across my back. Like it was just like I had like big old spots, like, the big explosive, terrible, like cystic, whatever you call that. Like I had a few of those like big ones on my back. And I've always had some back knee, like it's always just been like, the occasional big one, and mainly like some like little spots, but now like little dots here and there, but now it's like I've definitely got some dots going on at all times, and and sometimes anywhere from like 1 to like 4 of like the big, awful kinds of acne. So it definitely it seemed like it blew up the first time, and then now that I've been getting my shots in my upper glute, it's been a much more gradual. That it just kind of the acne just kind of comes and then it kind of goes. I've also, but it kind of, I've got like a little bit in my face. You can probably see that I've got a couple little dots. But I've been working out more than ever. And I've also been just trying to eat really well, avoiding the dairy, sugar, gluten, um, greasy foods, all those kind of things, just sticking to a really boring, skin good diet. And that seems to be helping a lot. Like as soon as I deter from that diet and have a couple Oreos, I wake up in the morning and this is Oreo number one and Oreo number two. I swear to God, like if I for every Oreo I eat, I get, or anything sugary or bad for me, or with gluten or anything like that, I get something for it. So I had 2 Oreos like 3 days ago. So, Oreo one, Oreo two. And for some reason it's like very symmetrical. I also like started to another time I had Oreos, I started to get Oreos on my skin, I started to get like spots like right like centered in my face. Like I don't know why it's like all mirrored, but anyway, I do get some like acne like around my face and a little bit like along my jaw, like generally where I should expect to get hairs at some point. So I'm thinking it may just be, I think a lot of the acne production is probably, the acne might just be because of like oil production, your skin getting ready for hair. So I believe that that is what's causing it. And so to help with that as well, I'm also applying this stuff called Kiva, which is like, it's got like this stuff called tree oil, which a lot of people swear by, according to the reviews. So I've never really been someone who uses like any kind of acne product. I usually just put, some moisturizer lotion on my face and go to work every morning. So now I put a little bit of that on, like just a really thin layer just around the areas where I expect to be getting acne during this process, and then I put on my moisturizer. And it is important that you put on moisturizer because it does help, even though like you're going to be having more oily skin, it does help actually to reduce that, because having your skin already oiled in something makes your body go, well, oh, I guess I don't really need to produce that much oil. It's already, skin is already pretty oily. So it helps to kind of reduce that amount of oil production and therefore reduce the acne that the oil production causes. So that just, just working out, eating healthy, using some, mild acne, preventative acne product and some lotion every day, seems to be helping me a lot. So I hope that helps out with some of you. And just making sure that you get, all your vitamins, your B5, your B7, zinc, things like that. I think that will really help, because I haven't really noticed a whole lot of acne. Like I said, it went from like, 1 to 2 dots to like 4. It hasn't really been serious yet. Yet. I now pass 90% of the time. I mainly like don't pass when I'm around people who know me and they will gender me as female. Otherwise, when I'm in like the locker room or the bathrooms and such, I just don't speak very much. I use like 1 or 2 word sentences just to get by. But otherwise, I try not to speak, because I know at the beginning of this, I had a very soft, very high feminine voice. And so, like, even though I passed really well just from my face and from having like really muscular arms from having worked out for 7 years lifting weights, I found that the moment I opened my mouth, I stopped passing like instantly. So now I am really good about not speaking a whole lot, and I pass about 90% of the time, and I don't really get any weird looks or anything like that at the gym locker room or anything anymore. I think the only weird looks I get is because like I shower and then like I come out, like I go into the shower is completely dressed and I come back out completely dressed, and a lot of guys don't really do that, so I get some stares for being that weirdo who's extremely modest. I believe there may be some smell changes, like just a little bit, like the way like my armpits and stuff smell when I get all like sweaty and have worked out for a long time. I think that seems to have changed a little bit. Like I just smell a little bit different, not so like girly, but not really manly either. I just like, kind of smell weird right now, or at least it seems weird to me. And that concludes the changes that I've experienced in my first month. So thank you for watching, and I will be sure to do one again next month. All right, see ya. Hi everyone, my name is Arian. This is my first week on T. Hi everyone, my name is Arian, and this is my first month on T.
This is my talking voice. 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 This is my talking voice.
Phantom Girl.